She says she wants a nice guy. She swipes left on assholes. She tells her friends, I just want someone kind. She writes it in her bio. She believes it. She means it. And then she sleeps with the guy who ignores her texts. She chases the man who makes her feel like she might lose him. She falls for the one who doesn't try. She cries over the emotionally unavailable. She leaves the nice guy on red. She ghosts the one who remembers her coffee order. She marries the one who forgets her birthday. And everyone stands around confused. Why does she say one thing and do another? Why is she attracted to men who hurt her? Why can't she just choose the nice guy? Because nice is a lie, not because women are liars. Because nice is the word she uses when she doesn't have the language for what she actually wants. And what she actually wants isn't nice, it's safe. And safe doesn't mean soft. Safe means strong enough to be dangerous, but choosing not to be. Nice is harmless. Safe is powerful. And women know the difference even when they can't name it. If you're ready to stop being confused by what women say and start understanding what they do, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Next week, I'm breaking down the exact moment a woman decides you're safe instead of just nice. You don't want to miss it. Nice is predictable. Safe is reliable. Nice never surprises her. Nice always texts back immediately. Nice always agrees. Nice always apologizes first. Nice always asks what she wants. Nice never creates tension. Nice never challenges her. Nice never makes her feel like she could lose him. And predictable is the death of desire. Because desire needs uncertainty, not chaos, not cruelty. But the uncertainty of being with someone who has options, who has edges, who could walk away but chooses to stay. Nice has no edges. Nice is a puddle. Safe is a river. It has depth, current, power. It could sweep her away, but it carries her instead. Women don't want puddles. They want rivers. They want to feel the power and know they're held by it. Nice says, I'll never hurt you. Safe says, I could, but I won't. And I won't is only meaningful if I could is true. Nice removes the could. Safe owns it. And that ownership is what makes her feel like she's with a man instead of a pet. Nice performs. Safe is. Nice does things to be appreciated. Nice remembers anniversaries for credit. Nice listens for points. Nice is kind because it wants something back. And women feel that. They feel the transaction underneath the gesture. They feel the invoice attached to the gift. They feel the scorecard behind the compliment. Safe doesn't perform because safe doesn't need to. Safe is kind because that's what kindness is. Safe listens because he's interested, not because he's earning. Safe shows up because he's there, not because he's proving. And that lack of performance creates a space where she doesn't have to perform either, where she doesn't have to be grateful for every little thing, where she doesn't have to manage his emotions while managing her own, where she can just be. Because he's not keeping score. He's not tracking his niceness against her responses. He's just being. And that being is what makes her feel like she's with a person instead of a strategy. Nice needs her. Safe chooses her. Nice is emotionally dependent. Nice needs her texts to feel okay. Nice needs her approval to exist. Nice needs her presence like oxygen. And that neediness masquerades as devotion. I can't live without you. You're my everything. I don't know what I'd do without you. And women hear that and they feel the weight of it. They feel the responsibility of being someone's entire emotional ecosystem. They feel the pressure of having to stay because leaving would destroy him. Nice makes her his life. Safe makes her his favorite part of his life. Nice has no life outside her. Safe has a full life and makes room for her in it. Nice says, I need you. Safe says, I want you. And want is only powerful when need isn't present. Because need is gravity. It pulls, it demands, it consumes. Want is choice. It's out of everything I have, I pick you. And that picking is what makes her feel like she's winning something, like she's been selected, like she's valuable enough to be chosen rather than necessary enough to be needed. Nice agrees. Safe has opinions. Nice never disagrees. Nice never risks conflict. Nice never says, I don't think that's right. Nice never challenges her. Nice never creates tension. And a relationship without tension is a relationship without life. Tension is where growth happens. Tension is where attraction lives. Tension is the space between two people who are fully themselves, where their edges meet and spark. Nice has no edges. Nice is a smooth surface. Safe has edges. Safe has boundaries. Safe has opinions that might not match hers. Safe says, I see it differently. Safe says, I don't agree. Safe says, I can't do that. And that disagreement, that boundary, that edge, creates a polarity that makes her feel feminine. Because she's not with a mirror, she's with a mountain, something solid. Something that doesn't move when she pushes, something that has its own gravity. And that gravity is what makes her feel like she's with a man, not a reflection, not an echo, a man. Nice is harmless. Safe is dangerous and disciplined. This is the one that breaks the nice guy's brain, because he thinks women want safety from danger. They don't. They want safety within danger. They want the man who could hurt them but chooses not to. The man who has power but uses it for her. The man who has options but picks her. The man who could walk away but stays. That discipline, that choice, that restraint is what creates the feeling of being chosen, not being defaulted to, not being settled for, being chosen. And chosen only matters if there were other options, if there was risk, if there was a decision made. Nice has no other options. Nice has no risk. Nice has no decision because nice has no power. And without power, choice is just desperation wearing a mask. Safe has power. Safe has options. Safe has the ability to walk away. And because he has all of that, his choice to stay is the most valuable thing she can receive. It's not, I have nowhere else to go. It's, I have everywhere else to go, and I'm here. And that is the difference between nice and safe. That is the difference between what she says and what she chases. That is the difference between the guy she tells her friends about and the guy she actually wants. So stop being nice, start being safe, start having edges, start having opinions, start having a life, start having options, start having the power to walk away and the discipline to stay. Start being dangerous enough to be worth choosing. Because nice is forgettable. Nice is invisible. Nice is the guy she tells her friends about when they ask why she's single. He was nice. Safe is unforgettable. Safe is magnetic. Safe is the guy she doesn't talk about because she's too busy being with him. She doesn't say, I want a nice guy. She says that because she doesn't know how to say, I want a man who is powerful enough to hurt me, but chooses to hold me instead. She doesn't know how to say, I want a man who has options, but picks me. She doesn't know how to say, I want a man who creates tension, but keeps me safe in it. So she says, nice. And you hear nice. And you become nice. And she leaves you for the guy who understood that nice was just a placeholder for safe, for strong, for disciplined, for dangerous and kind. Stop hearing what she says. Start seeing what she does. Stop being nice. Start being safe. If this destroyed the nice guy in you, hit that like button so more men who need this can find it. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you want to keep getting the truth that most people are too scared to say. Drop a comment below with the word safe if you're done being nice. And if you know a guy who is exhausting himself being perfect and getting left behind, send this to him. He deserves to know that nice isn't the goal. Safe is. Until next time, stop performing kindness. Start being power with discipline. This is Mind of Connection. I'll see you soon.